Boys and girls, today you will be reading a little bit further into the Electoral College. This is going to be your assignment for today. The Electoral College, the President of the United States is the leader of the country. Elections to decide who will be president happen every 4 years. Most people think the winner is decided by who got the most votes. Instead, the Electoral College decides who wins the presidential election. The Electoral College was started as a compromise between the framers of the Constitution. When writing the Constitution, some people wanted the country's president to be chosen by Congress. Others, however, wanted the nation's leader to be chosen by the people. The framers compromised, and the Electoral College was created. The Electoral College is not a place, it is a process. It is how the American people choose who will be the president. When people vote in a presidential election, they are actually voting for an elector. An elector is a person chosen to vote for president. The number of electors each state gets depends on the number of people living in that state. States with large populations have many electors. For example, California has 55 electoral votes. Wyoming, with its smaller population, only has 3 electoral votes. Currently, there are 538 electors for all 50 states plus the District of Columbia. It is up to each state to decide who gets to be an elector, but it can be almost anyone. After a presidential election in November, the votes cast by the people are counted. This is called the popular vote. The candidate who wins the popular vote in a state usually wins all the electoral votes too. In the 1980 presidential election, Ronald Reagan won the popular vote in Missouri. As a result, he also won all that state's electoral votes. Only 2 states, Nebraska and Maine, split their electoral votes. In order to be declared a winner, a candidate must win at least 270 electoral votes. Both houses of Congress count these votes a few weeks after the presidential election. Some states have laws that require their electors to vote for the candidate who won the popular vote. Historically, most electors have voted this way. In a few rare instances, however, electors have voted for someone other than the candidate chosen by the people. Boys and girls, what you're going to do here is code this text. And what do I mean by code? You're going to number the paragraphs. It's much like our hashtag legit strategy, but this is a different one. You're going to circle the topic. What is this text talking about? You're going to underline the main idea of the passage. And you may do this for each paragraph. Normally with hashtag legit, we jot it out to the side. In this instance of coding the text, you're going to underline it. You're going to draw a star for supporting details. If there's any part of the text that is confusing, you're going to draw a question mark. If there are any parts that you found interesting or surprising, or that made you go, wow, I didn't know that, you're going to include a exclamation point. And then the letter C, a connection with the text. Excuse me. Okay, boys and girls, please again make sure that you study the vocabulary here. There will be a quiz on this for the end of the week. You've seen and heard these words now for the 3rd day, 3 days in a row. And so again, I want you to make sure that you are rereading everything on the page, okay? As we move down, there are some reading strategies here, okay? When you're making predictions after reading the heading, what predictions can you make about this text? What do you think will happen next? Again, that's all a part of our hashtag legit strategy that we've been using actually since the first or second week of school. When it asks you to make a connection with the letter C on the coding the text piece, it says, what other book or article does this text make you think about after reading it? What have you read or seen on either TV or in a movie or a video that reminds you possibly of some of the information in the text? As you're reading, you can visualize what were some of the pictures in your mind while reading. How would you describe your mental image after reading the text? What can you see in your mind after reading a particular paragraph? Another reading strategy is using your prior knowledge. We've talked about this before, or your schema. Can you explain how this topic is familiar to you? Have you heard about it before? What do you already know about it? Okay. Questioning. We know that good readers always have questions, correct? So what questions do you have after reading this article? I want you to be thinking about that. Was there anything in the text that was confusing to you? That's where that question mark comes in with coding the text. And if you could ask the author of this particular passage one question, what would that be? Those are things I want you to be thinking about. Making an inference, inferring and drawing conclusions. You do this based on the details that were given to you in the text. What is an inference you can make about someone mentioned in the text? Determining the importance. What was one important idea that stuck out to you? How do you know it was important? What was the text mostly about? Was there any evidence? That's that underlining the main idea and then putting stars, I believe it was, next to the supporting details. Okay. And then synthesizing. What new thinking do you have about the Electoral College now after reading this text? Do you have a new understanding about it? Did you even know what it was before we started our study this election season? Okay. So again, I'm expecting that you guys do your very, very best on this, that you are not just underlining, circling, putting stars next to just anything. Remember, this is about you having a growth mindset, improving yourself, increasing your capacity for learning, and making yourself proud. Okay? Ms. Johnson hopes that she is able to see you guys soon. So please make yourselves proud, make me proud, and do your very, very best. Okay? Hope to see you soon.